Funding for extracurricular. Funding is dwindling for extracurricular on a yearly basis. These extracurricular activities, sports, organizations within our schools, speech and debate, FFA, continue to depend on their clubs, their organization, on how they raise funds more than ever. That was not the case 9 years ago. That's how it has changed when it comes to funding for these organizations. And I forgot some of the question. I'm sorry, Jim.
Okay, what are your views for allocating funds between academics, extracurricular, transportation, etc.? Your views.
Bottom line is, we've got to make sure that our budget allows for allocating extra funds in that direction. Right now, we currently can afford that. But, as we all know, I keep harping on the funding formula. That's a big key in our budget, is how the state funds us. Thank you.
Again, with the budget, I'm a firm believer that we need all the extracurricular activities, the footballs and the basketball, and I'm not one to ever say that ever needs to be taken away. Looking into the budget, finding out if we can afford it, and looking at every angle that and also get the input from the community, because we've heard talk around areas they're just going to drop transportation for the band, and not here, but other schools, and that scares me because I think having extracurricular is part of being a kids wanting to be at school, not just sitting in the classroom learning all day. So it's very important to keep, and the only way to do is go over the budget, figure out, make sure we can afford it, and ask for the public's opinion on it, and go from there.
I think you have to look at numbers, and I don't mean budget numbers, I mean the number of kids that are affected. Academics, how many kids will be affected by money going to academics? 100%. What percentage of kids are affected if you spend more in extracurricular? Not going to be 100%, because you can't get every kid to participate, even though we'd like to. So I think you have to look at numbers. I think academics, obvious, has to be spent first. And then you have to look at numbers. There were some people that I know said some things about the football stadium, money spent on the football stadium. And, you can say, well, they use it, 10 times a year. But there's some other things that go into it. Community pride is one. It needed to be done. I mean, the stands there were terrible. There was a safety issue. There's a lot of things that go into decision making. It's not just, hey, I like football, so we're going to spend money on football. But I think academics has to be number one, because 100% of our students are affected in that way.
That academics has to be our number one priority. Transportation, we've got to be able to get the kids to school. We can't teach them. Unfortunately, we can't rely 100% on the parents to be able to get the kids there. They have jobs. That's a big priority for us. Extracurricular activities, I'm not, at this point, I don't even think it's even remotely possible that we consider giving them up. I think it helps keep a tremendous number of kids plugged in. It keeps them out of trouble, gives them something to do, gives them pride in their school. And that's very important. I've been devastated if my school didn't have sports. I remember when I was in high school, they dropped, baseball was my big thing. I was a better basketball player, but baseball was my thing. And one year they dropped the baseball program in the spring. We used to play spring and fall, but they dropped it